Petra. Welcome into this live with me today. Hello, people. Hello. And welcome to this new live with me, and my guest is Petra Jirozkova. I hope I'm pronouncing correctly.
So close. Much better than some, so I take it.
Could you repeat it, please?
Jirozkova.
Jirozkova, okay. I'm terrible. I'm very terrible. And I will just wait until like 1 minute, 4 minutes and a half for allowing people to connect, and so they are not gonna miss any important information that we are going to say here.
Yes.
So I think that right now the time is gonna be 5:30 in UK, 6:30 in Europe, and
12 here, yeah.
in US. Okay, that sounds good. Okay, so I will just start because I believe that this talk is gonna be really long. There is so much to do on the topic. Petra is a very professional, very expert in the field, and I want to use her as much as possible. So welcome everyone here in this new live. The topic of today is about being a leader, and we have titled "You're not the friends, you are their leader." So let's dive into this topic. Let me put the slide on. Is it gone somewhere? It's just like there are so many. Here we are. Okay. So what's happening in many companies? I can see that I'm orange like my friend.
You are matching. I love it.
So I mean, Petra and we believe that many times what happens in companies is just like you are promoted because you were good in your technical skills, and when you are promoted, you became the leader of your team or the leader of your project. And unfortunately, these are two different roles. Hello from LA. Greetings from London.
UK. Look at that. We're hitting all the continents. Okay, great.
I love it. This is why I love internet. So I was just saying that when you are promoted as a leader, actually leading is a different skill set compared to what you were facing before. So I just put this sentence: leading is a social skills. So you can't just use any of your technical knowledge for leading. You can use your technical knowledge only for being able to predict what is supposed to happen. Hi, Damian. Thank you for being many times here live with me. Oh, hello from Malta as well. Wow, this is lovely. I love this girl. Thank you. It's amazing. I love when people are like interested and they are coming from different places. It means that somehow is a topic that it's a human topic. We are human, and no matter what our culture, we are facing always the same problems. So let's coming back. When you are technical, you can use your technical skills for predicting what is supposed to happen. So you can use it like for guiding or better to inspiring. But you can guide and inspire. Hi, Rodica from Ireland. Lovely. We have one exponent from every part of the world. I love it. So social skills means that you need to understand the human behavior, the human emotions, what usually nowadays call like you need to have emotional intelligence skills, and these are really the real skills that you need for leading. And many times leaders, when they are promoted, they are facing the trap, the friend trap. So probably they were working in the same team before, but as a team member, and right now, like they feel they have this new role, and they feel like a kind of discomfort somehow, and they want to keep being friends because no one likes to be the bad cop in the room. But the truth is just like you can't be their friends because you need to be their leader. So first of all, I just wanted to include this diagram that I took from one of my books, where I just want to let you know that if you want to be a great leader, you need to face different challenges. So first of all, yourself. So here is indicated as a focus on you. So you just need to you just need to take care about your own reputation, your own skill set that somehow right now you just need to improve with these new skills that we are going to talk about during this life, and many more that I'm going to come. At the same time, it's like you need to focus on the relationships with your teams, your team members, because in any case, if you're alone, you're not a leader. And at the same time, if you are in a company, and this is more alike, you just need to focus as well on what are the processes actually inside the company. Because if you want to be a good leader, somehow you can't just go against your company's values, visions, emissions, anything like that. So I think that it's very simple diagram, but it explains very well how complex is your new role. So, I mean, if you want to add anything, Petra, about that.
No, I think you nailed it. I think a lot of the times, leadership is a skill that needs to be developed. And a lot of times people are placed into that position without that additional support and guidance, right? And helping that transition take full circle.
I think I haven't introduced you well, actually. I'm sorry. This is my bad. Sorry. Petra is specialized in conflict situations. And in the team, we know there are a lot of complex situations and conflicts. So this is why I had invited her as a facilitator. Thank you, Petra. Sorry, my bad.
No worries at all. It happens. We're all human, right? That's how we started. We're all human, and yeah. So we'll get into that.
Good. Thank you for your comprehension here. Okay, so let's move on. So, I mean, this is another little scheme where just want to explain. Many times leaders spend their energies in trying to keep peace, avoiding friction, or just to be liked. But in reality, this is a wrong focus for you, because you're not taking care about the relationships. So we were talking in the previous diagram. So actually, if you want to be a successful and good leader, you need to use your energies for being clear, like setting expectations, or like having clear roles and responsibilities in a way that people knows who is doing what and how is doing something as well. So as well, like setting directions and protecting your people with structure and respect. I am one of those that really believes that if I hadn't been good in guiding my team, and one of the team members does some mistakes, is somehow my fault. I always took ownership when someone is gotten mistakes, because it means that somehow I wasn't able to communicate properly. I wasn't able to um, guiding the person well. So I am one that wants to protect my people. I know that not everyone are leaders in this way, but from my own experience, if you don't protect your people, what is happening after, just like they are not gonna follow you, because they think like you are against them. And after that, the result is just like you just need to go in micromanaging, because you have lost all the trust the people had.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very complicated to repair to our mistakes. It's easier to, in my idea, it's very easy to do a mistake. It's more complicated to gain trust back after.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Do you mind if I add a couple of things to this slide?
Go. Yeah, you.
So I love, trying to avoid the, keeping the peace, avoiding friction, and to being liked. That is something that seems very easy to do, right? And it's pretty difficult often to have these conversations rather than having these conversations. But what happens when we're trying to preserve peace, avoid friction? We're avoiding what is happening, right, in the team dynamic, and it creates frustration. It creates distrust. It creates people start to be demotivated. You might start seeing, once the respect is lost, you may start seeing a little bit of gossiping. People are not as inclined to give you feedback. They're not inclined to volunteer ideas. They're shutting down, right? So all of this, because when you are not communicating with your team, the trust is lost. They don't feel like you're supporting them. They don't feel like they're being heard. And you as a leader want to be challenged. That's where innovative ideas come from. And that's how it links to the being clear and, setting directions, giving the team information. Most of the time, and it starts when we're children, we want to understand the why behind a no, right? If I give you an idea and you just say, no, that's a terrible idea, I just want to understand. And giving that validating somebody really brings the best out of them. And also, to your point, Stefania, accountability, being accountable. This is one of the things that really frustrate me, is when a team member, let's say, has a tough call, right? And the client doesn't respond the way we would like them to. Some leaders blame the team, right? The team member. But then vice versa, when the team member does something really great, often the leader takes the responsibility for, like, this is my team. They did it because I am their leader, right? So it goes both ways. Take responsibility for both, or give as much as accountability you're giving to your team, also make sure you give them the praise that they also deserve.
Sure. Yeah, it's a matter of respect. Like, if you respect your people, yeah, they're gonna give you respect back. If you disrespect them, they are gone completely.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, I believe so much in trust, and here I have just put some ideas for you. I mean, it's a list, but you can find so many others And it doesn't matter like if you're going to use this one or we're going to use your own. So we'll just like to give some kind of ideas how you can gain trust. So you can create in trust, like clarifying your and the other expectations. Because when everyone are aligned, what is expected and what's not, I mean, you are just selling with the same ship. And this is really, really important, because when you want to lead and people are not following exactly your direction, it's a real problem. For the simple reason that if we have different roles, there is one reason. I know that people like to say something like, I want to be able to speak out about one situation that we are all facing. And this is great. I don't have problem with that. The problem is just like when on the other side, you expect me to take on board 100% of your feedback, for the simple reason that if there are roles, it means that even like the vision of the picture is going to be different. And if everyone do everything, no one is doing anything at all. So it's I can just collect the feedback and understand I mean, what is the mood about one scenario, or like if they can actually achieve the goal or not, based on like, I don't feel I can just address this task by the timeline that you gave me, for instance. But what is important is just like everyone knows as well roles and responsibilities. But I think we have a slide after about roles and responsibilities. So maybe it's a topic that we can talk more about later. So as Petra was saying earlier, give the reason behind a decision, and not only the decision. So if you say something like, okay, I need like this by the end of the week instead of by the end of the month, if you're just gonna say something like this, people, I mean, they can just feel you are using them, they are just numbers, anything like that. Instead of what we wanted, just that they're gonna understand and they're gonna feel also part of the project. So if you're gonna say something like, I just need this task by the end of this week instead of the end of the next week, because the client has changed some of the terms in the contract, and unfortunately, we can't wait for the end of the month anymore. I mean, at least the team is also more involved, and when it's more involved, they have the motivation to work with you. If you're just gonna give a task without explaining what is happening on the background, I mean, it's just like going out without knowing what season it is there, so you don't know if you need to wear the coat or just like a summer shirt. Create an atmosphere of mutual respect. I mean, if you respect them, they're gonna respect you. We were saying this before. State clearly the organization principle and core value. So, I mean, just always be aligned with your organization's vision and mission, because you don't want to have a problem with your team, but at the same time, you are not on the top of the company, you are in the middle, and you don't want to have problem with your bosses as well. Be fair and consistent. And the last one is listen to and involve people regularly. This is very important. As I was saying, like if you involve people, it helps also in the motivation of keep on going and so on. do you want to add
Yes, I do want to add something. As far as when we were talking about respect, something, a pro tip, and I'm only mentioning this because I've seen this to be done. I've seen it in different rooms, and I'm going to keep that to myself, actually, that part. But when something is happening and you notice, I don't know, maybe a team member starts to be vocal during a meeting, or you're in a workshop, a way to handle it properly is not to call somebody out in front of everybody else. And I know that sounds like a common sense, and probably a lot of listeners right now are like, okay, yeah, like, but it seems like it's not. And the reason why I'm bringing it up is because I have seen it to happen. And that really embarrasses somebody. It throws off the whole power dynamic. And then you are risking that other people may never want to volunteer to share their ideas with you or around the table because they might be fearing that something similar could happen to them. So that was something I wanted to add to that. And then be fair and consistent. That's, again, something from personal experience. I've seen this, especially if you're coming from a team into a leadership role, you have to check yourself how you're communicating with other people. Right? Because as soon as you start showing favoritism, that power dynamic shifts and people can feel it. People see it, right? People feel alienated by it. So being really intentional and careful, maybe saying to your friend, hey, I want to continue this friendship, but let's continue that outside of work. And when we're outside of work, let's focus on outside of work things. That's what friendship is. It shouldn't be just evolved around work, right? So making sure that you keep those things separate. I know it's really hard, but it will make your transition into leadership role much easier.
Yeah, actually, it's a part of the rules, the many ones, like your own code. It's something like don't mix your personal life with your professional life.
Yeah.
And
sure, sometimes it's easier to, it's easy to fall into that trap. And I've learned who my friends are too. After leaving different jobs, you carry some people with you, and then I tend to not talk about previous work with people, and that's how I learn if we still have that connection. Was it work that was connecting us, or was it some actual genuine friendship outside of work?
Yeah. This is a part of another topic, so we're gonna have another about that. Because we are already like almost 25 minutes or so.
Yeah.
As I told at the beginning of this live, I think it's gonna be very long. So here, I mean, I think this is a Petra part.
Yes.
Expertise. It's just like how to help you in because just a little introduction. If your team is too comfortable, your team is not gonna go anywhere, because a part of being successful in your job and in the company, and also in your private life, in your private person, I'm gonna explain better. It's just like that you want to have some little challenges that are gonna motivate you, and if you have a challenge, the team is gonna grow day after day. And if the team is gonna grow, the delivery is gonna be like higher quality, and the company itself is gonna raise their reputations. So it means that somehow you just need to be the bad couple in the room, and it means that you're not the friends, and you need to have bad talks with them.
All right. Petra. So let me get into the 7:38:55 rule. So when we're looking for body language, words often communicate only 7%, Okay, so we can say something and it can come in many different forms. The tone of voice and body language. Not only should leaders observe what the team is signaling to them, if they're avoiding eye contact, they're agreeing but avoiding eye contact, whatever that is, really paying attention to it. They may say, I'm fine. Those are the words, but their tone of voice may suggest something completely different, that maybe they're overwhelmed. So paying attention, 7% are only the words, 38, tone and body language, 55. But not only should you pay attention to your team, you should also pay attention to yourself. What signals are you sending to your team? Are you inviting? Are you supportive? Or are they scared to come into your office and ask you questions, right? So making sure that you check yourself. Sometimes people like to even record their meetings, right? If you can, like, record yourself to see how you really are and how you're communicating. And staying away from assumptions. Again, Stefania and I could go to the same dinner tonight, and I may have a great time, but her experience may be completely different. We all have different experiences. We all have different triggers. Some of us have different traumas. You don't know how the person is impacted and what their history and experience is. So rather than assuming, let's ask questions. And I would invite you to ask open-ended questions that get them talking so you understand their reasoning behind it, right? Invite them, understand. And the more questions you ask and the more you listen, they will feel heard and seen. That's all. Most people want to be heard and seen.
All of them. Everyone wants to
Yeah.
be seen and heard at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Especially if you're asking people to come back to the office.
Yeah, especially that. Mm-hmm.
So if you are a company that actually is asking to come back to the office because it feels like it's losing control from the remote work, you just need to treat your people, because otherwise people just are perfectly fine in staying on the other side of a computer.
Yeah.
I was just thinking how small is the word power, like 7 compared to like 5% is your body language. Like,
that's insane, right? And you can see it.
Because it's really difficult to lie with your body.
Yes, it's really difficult. This is why I would be the worst spy on the planet, and my dream's never gonna come true because I hide it well. So this is where I often opt into honesty. Like, I will always tell somebody, look, I'm having a bad day or I'm nervous, and let's work from here, right? Like, so they understand what's happening for me in case they detect something. But you see it even in messages like emails or texts between colleagues, where you see a ton of emojis, right? Like smiling emojis, because you're worried that a thing could come off differently. So yeah, we overcompensate in different forms as well. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're right. Because actually, it's easier to hide some sign through text, like an email. But as you said, in any case, the sort of idea behind it, you can feel it in any case. If something is too formal, the people are like, okay, I feel like there is a little tension here. Let me just do a breath in before replying to this email. If something is very friendly and just let me know if you have anything that you want to discuss further. In that case, you're just there immediately typing. Actually, you can feel the language even if the person is not in front of you.
And to your point, I know we have to move on, but if you ever feel like an email is coming off differently and you feel like it's maybe attacking you a little bit, again, ask questions, check in. Maybe they're just having a bad day. But also, too, sometimes we get bad news from leaders, and this is just for team members as well, or even leaders, they all have somebody that typically manages them. If you get a bad news and your instinct is to immediately reply, please pause, write it out, and come back to it. Because you are coming from a defensive mode and your response may be very, very different. Sometimes even get a third eye to look at it and say, hey, this is the email I'm planning to send. What do you think of it? And have a third neutral party look at it, because you don't know how it's coming across, especially when you're in that defensive mode.
Actually, like you mentioned something important, that a good quality for a leader is to be calm no matter what is happening in the room. So, I mean, you can understand why it's more a social skill leadership rather than technical, because there's not going to be any manual that is going to tell you, like, if you're going to follow step 1, 2, 3, and 4, you're going to be calm when the situation happens. So it's something that you need to train yourself. You need to know yourself. Like, what are the triggers that actually activate you in some sort of ways. And this is something that is not written in any manual, and you just need to learn it. And this is social, because it's a matter of relationships with others. It doesn't matter if it's going to be your boss or other team members, yourself as well. It's always a relationship. So
creating that rapport with your team is really important, and understanding who you're dealing with and how to navigate conversations. Every conversation should look different based on who you're sitting with in the room.
Yeah, definitely. So staying away from assumption and asking questions for information, we had already covered
that.
Move forward. Okay, we are back to roles and responsibilities I was mentioned earlier. Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna try to go quick here, because I was already mentioning earlier. It's really important that everyone are gonna understand in teams. So what is the roles and what are gonna be their responsibilities here. Unfortunately, this is something that it's still in process. Like the RESI matrix, it's something that barely I saw. And maybe you have, when you have multiple discipline working in the same project, so you have the roles for each discipline, but internally companies I used to not do any matrix about roles and responsibilities. And if you're not doing anything like that, it means that when under pressure situation happens, people are just gonna start blaming each other. Or like they're gonna get confused, because actually they don't know how big is gonna be the task that they need to prepare. And in a kind of way, this creating tensions. So they are not like right focus on the delivery part. I mean, it's just gonna start like a chain of bad condition, in a way that you're not gonna get what you want. And this is the worst that you can have, because I have seen so many people losing points for very stupid reasons. And I'm like, why? Like everyone wants to do always the easiest part, and no one wants to do the more complicated one. But you need to issue everything, and you need to deliver the whole project. And it's never cool. And I mean, you were close to someone in the team, and because of these misunderstandings on who is doing what, people then start having conflict. And as I was saying earlier, it's very complicated then to come back to a good situation. There's always gonna be something like Yeah, but I remember that in that case, this person had acted badly with me. I don't fully trust. Maybe there is a conspiracy against me. I mean, people, I have seen people starting so many bad, negative thoughts. They were like, why? And everything is just because the roles and responsibilities weren't clear at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a leader responsibilities, to be honest. So I know that maybe you think like you are the bad guy, but hey, you are there for, I don't like to use this word, but like judging people's skills, understanding who is able to do what, because not everyone are the same in the team. So it's okay, like to have someone that it's more talented in something, and other people can be more talented in other skills. And it doesn't mean that the balance is going to be 50 and 50. Maybe you can have 45 and 55, but yeah, somehow you just need to be considered the bad guy. Maybe at the beginning could look like that, but if you play well your cards, and actually after this situation, under pressure, people see that they were able to deliver it, they were able like to learn something new. They have the feeling of, first of all, motivation, and then I'm proud of myself. You want your team members to come back home feeling like, yes, tonight I can go to sleep easily because today I have done what I was supposed to do. This feeling is what you want to look in your people, and this is gonna come if you're gonna challenging them a little. I don't want to say like challenging at all, because somehow you just need to give a little extra about what is the comfort zone, because if you're going to give too much, they are not going to be able to do it, and then they're going to start like, oh my gosh, on my failure wasn't able to do this, and so you're never going to win as well. So you just need to be able also to dosage how much challenge you can attribute to each people in your team. Do you want to add something, Patrick? Here?
No, actually, I think you hit it.
That is, I have done so much roles and responsibilities. That is one of my hot topics.
No, we all get passionate about things, and for me,
Yeah, because as I said, like you see people losing points for like a breadcrumb, and I'm like, why? Why? You know?
On that note, no, but I kind of said it earlier at the beginning of our call that it's okay to let your team push back, right? If it's done respectfully, we can disagree respectfully and come to different ideas. And I see that you have the example here. You want a team where someone says, actually, Stefania, I see it differently. Can we have a conversation? Whether it's in private or in front of whatever you as a leader feel is more appropriate, knowing who you're dealing with, making sure that you are really opening up and making sure that teams can challenge you. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. They may have some great ideas, and if that doesn't work, just tell them, hey, look, we've tried this before. It didn't work for X, Y, and Z, or we've never considered it. We're in the middle of this project. Let's come back to it and give them a date when you will revisit this, right? So that way they don't feel discouraged. They don't feel dismissed, and they feel like, hey, okay, the next time I have an idea, or I think that this would work better for our team, I can go to Stefania and say, can we talk about this?
And this is also very important because one good team is built like where every person has their own talent. And I know that usually people try to put team members that are going to be each one is going to be the copy of the other one. But if you're doing that, please stop, because that type of team is not going to go anywhere. It means that if you're going to have a problem to solve, no one is going to be able to solve it, because everyone has always the same ideas, the same skills.
Yeah.
They are just one of the other's copy. So the best team is the one where people have some overlap, but somehow they are all different and they are unique in their own ways. Thank you, Gloria. We are happy to see that you, are enjoying in this live. Thank you for being here with us. And so as I was saying, like the best team is when everyone has a sort of uniqueness, even though there's going to be, of course, areas that are going to be overlap. And it means that when someone is failing, the other one is taking care of the problem solving. So if you are open and listen to, actually, Stefania, I see it differently. It could be that they are more talented in that particular topic, situation, solution, etc., and they can see farther than you. It doesn't mean that they're stealing your job. It just means that they want to help, and this is what a team is like, helping each other.
And ideally, leader molds the next leader into their position, right? Ideally, a true leader wants to make more leaders, right? Like, leader doesn't get stuck. Like, ideally, you make more room, you're bringing people up, and you make sure that they are the next leaders, the next generation.
Yeah, because when you are a leader, actually, you are next to them. Like every time I never had been one like, okay, I'm saying this, so you need to be like this. I just want to, like, I remember that there was a office where we were supposed to book the desk every time we were going to the office. Of course, it was after COVID. And I was just like, guys, where are you sitting this day? Because I want to sit next to you. I just wanted to create any kind of distance between me and the others. Yeah, I mean, let's go on. Oh, okay. This is another important things that you need to consider when you're starting your leadership roles, because not everyone are gonna be the same as a type of person. So whatever is going to work for one person, it doesn't mean that it's going to work for another one. Maybe one person is going to be more shy, the other one is more stubborn. Experiences are different. So I mean, every single situation and every single person is unique, but this is more like important when you have in your team someone that the company is considering junior and the company is considering senior. Why? Because if someone is considered junior, it means that it's kind of blank page, and they see you differently from a senior case. So you just need to be flexible with your approach. Thank you, Jahir, for this lovely comment. It's very nice meeting and discussion. Thank you, Petra, for being here with me. I knew that you were my girl here. And so when you are like a junior, you are just a blank page. You you're craving like knowledge, and you are seen differently from senior. Actually, a junior needs your guide. A senior who wants clarity and respect for all of the experience. So they see you differently, they approach you differently, and the language is different, the body language is different as well, and you just need to be very flexible. This is normal. I mean, and you're gonna learn it just with the practice. No manual can save you here.
Uh, if I can, for some of the leaders that are listening, if you're getting new team members, your juniors, make sure to ask them what way they like to learn, right? So I've had some of the most talented team members on my team before, but we had to adjust the training. So make sure that the trainings are diverse. Some people are more visual learners. Some people just hear it and get it. And some people are doers. Some people need a little bit of a combination of all, right? Some people even like role playing scenarios before you place them on that call or before you place them on this case study. So making sure to say like, hey, how can I support you? What's the best way to learn? And making sure that you have a different like multi-leveled training to making sure that it can be incorporated in different ways depending on that individual.
Actually, you have reminds me one of my techniques. So when I'm starting with a new team, or when a new team member is joining my team, I like to have a coffee, virtual coffee, or a chit chat with them. It could be also like 10-15 minutes, but just like as a icebreaker, and just as well for knowing better each other, because for me it's very important to understand the type of person that I have in front of me, what they believe they are good at, and where they are coming from. So this is like my own personal way. I just call it coffee, but it could be also like a chit chat. But yeah, I know that it could sound like an interrogative, but it always works.
Honestly, I would do it even with the people that are that are not junior level, but
Yeah.
they're seniors, making sure that they feel supported and empowered and that their growth isn't stagnant. And and making sure you learn something about them, because the more, I think I saw it in one of your posts, it was about wasn't it like about a piercing? Somebody was really like,
Yeah.
pushing back on you, and then you're like, hey, I have a piercing too, or something like that. And that little commonality, right, that common ground shifted the view of you. So it could be anything, as you don't need to be their friend, you don't need to be their best friend, you don't need to know their issues, what's happening in their personal life, but something as simple as a piercing, or, oh, I have a dog as well, what's your dog's name, can really ignite that connection and that rapport.
Yeah, because we want to reduce the distance between you and them. What is important as a leader is that they are going to understand that you are one of them. You're not anyone special. You're not their enemy. You're not their boss. You are all working for the same goal. Because the reality, just be real. Life is getting more and more complex, and work is affected as well by life complication. So if we have teams, and teams number is going to increase in the future, it's just because one single person can't take care about everything anymore. This is true in terms of skills, this is true in terms of time, cost as well, and teams are needed, but we are all working for the same goal, we all want to reach the same achievement, the same result. So, I mean, as a leader, I'm one of you. I'm not above you. I'm not under you. I'm just like next to you. In the circle, I'm just like one of the thousands point that are making the cycle. So, some tips for success. I mean, this is our last slide. Do you want to go through it, or should I always go? Where do you want to go? What do you want to do?
I can read through it, and then we can touch upon it if you want to.
I mean, it's up to you. I mean,
If anybody wants us to maybe expand on certain one, let us know in the chat, and we can dive more into it. But know when to step in and when to stay back, right? So, anything to add to this one, Stefania?
No, as I said, like it's a part of I want to be next to you. I don't want to be anywhere else.
And that could be emotional too, right? Making sure that you also, to me, it also means like trusting your team. Sometimes you got to step back, making sure that you know that you can step back and your team can be trusted. So that way you're not micromanaging them. And also making sure when to step in if you feel like there's tension. You can often read when there's tension between teams or when there is a tension between you and the person. And sometimes if you are leading a team, you got to nip that. You got to quickly address it, because the longer you let it go, it's gonna, that toxicity will spill over, right? So making sure that you nip it. And I've actually, if I can real quickly, I had an example. I was doing a workshop, and the participant kept kind of like coming at me, right, with like these unsolicited comments. And so when the groups broke out and nobody was paying attention and everybody was moving around, I just said like, hey, can we step outside? And I said like, hey, am I supporting you, right? Like, is something going on? Did I say something that may have ignited some of the feedback that I was receiving? What's going on? And it turned out that it was something very personal. It had nothing to do with me. And he just needed to talk about it and release it, and everything was fine from then on. And when we came back, it shifted the entire energy, right? So making sure you really address it immediately, and you can be kind about it and empathetic and move on. And then we have respect the other's points of view and perspective on the topic. I think we talked about that. Create empathy and rapport with the team members. Notice and observe people's reactions, emotions, and nonverbal communication and body language. We touched upon that. And listen carefully to what is being said and how it is said, right? Sometimes, like we said, 7% are words. The rest is up to us to figure out. And develop a sense of trust and being trusted by the team. So, yeah. Do you have anything to add to that, Stefania?
No, I mean, this was just like a slide for sum up some points. So there's going to be like an overall idea. Of course, it's not going to cover everything, because leadership is a very wide topic. But yeah, I mean, I hope that as a tips, if you're starting your new journey into leadership, these are gonna be helpful for you, and you had some inspiration in this life with Petra and I. Yeah, I mean, anything more to add? Or
I was gonna end on, remember one thing: if you're creating a healthy work culture and you have a good team that is supporting you and you're supporting them, your home life will also feel better, because often we carry these stressors home. Most people cannot separate the two, and it doesn't just turn off, especially when you're in that leadership role. So, and you have higher responsibilities than you had before, because now you're not only you're responsible for people now, in addition to the workload. So making sure that everything is set and you're supporting them, it will reflect on your home life.
Yeah, this is true, because I think we were talking about that in one of our calls, that actually it's just like a toxic wheel.
Mm-hmm.
So the stressful work somehow is gonna affect your personal life. The more this situation is going on, the more you're gonna be affected in your personal life. And then because your personal life is affected by these negative emotions, the day after you're gonna be affected as well in the job and in the workplace. Everything is gonna be more complicated, and everything is gonna come back home and to your friends and your family, and even your time to rest. So something space for you only. And if this cycle is gonna be repeated longer enough, you're just gonna go in burnout. And if you are a CEO or a founder or an owner, if this cycle is gonna, if your people are gonna go in burnout, they don't want to come back to your place, to your workplace anymore. And you're gonna have the person, their families, their friends, all talking badly about your company. So it means that even your ethic and your reputation is in trouble, because without people that want to buy your services, you don't have any business at all. No stones are buying your services, you know?
And look, you want to be intentional how you are leading and spending your time and communicating, because for most people, most of the time our hours are spent at work. So, we want to be intentional. You want to be happy for those 8 or whatever hours that you're in the office. You don't want to be miserable, and you don't want your team to be miserable either.
Miserable.
I'm just saying.
But just for saying, it's okay to have a bad day. So it's not okay to have a bad life. It means that you have said you want to be happy at work. And this is true, but I just don't want to sell out any utopia. So it's okay if some days the day stress, you feel like okay, maybe today I was able to do better, etc. But this is coming by what we were saying earlier with the challenge, the extra little challenge that you give to your people. Because for instance, it could happen that maybe, to reaching the Friday is a challenge for them. So it could be that during the week, Wednesday, they're gonna feel like not happy about the day. But if the Friday they are gonna reach the point and they feel like they had been useful, they had been heard and seen, they have learned something more, and they're gonna go to bed Friday night yes, I am happy about what I have done. That is your goal. That is the happy life that Petra was mentioning earlier.
Exactly.
Vince is saying 8 hours. That's a half a day for me.
Yeah. So you probably spend a lot more time in the office.
And then you need to consider also that you have usually you have 8 hours of full work.
At least, right?
You have the lunch break that is going to be at least a half an hour, but many times is an hour. And then you need to consider also the time that you wake up and you dress up to go to the
commute
office.
To work as well. The commute can vary, right?
So in any case, of course, those hours are not gonna be something 100% direct with the job, but somehow your intention is the workplace.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, for me, it's not 8 hours is the time for going to the job. For me, it's longer.
Yeah. I think that's what Vince is saying too. It might be more than 8 hours. That's just half a day for Vince. I'm assuming like a half a day of work day. Yeah.
Okay. So we are 1 hour, very long. If there are no other comments, if you want to add something more, Petra, let me know. Otherwise, I'm gonna close here.
Just reach out to both of us if you have any questions or you need, some guidance around leadership. And I'm pretty sure Stefania and I are both available to answer any questions.
Of course. Okay, so we just close this live. Thank you so much, guys, for having me here. Yeah, I mean, if you want to have a more suggestion, feel free to reach out to Petra or I. And it had been lovely to have you here. I really loved the topic today, and I hope that had helped someone, but I'm sure it has. And yeah, I mean, have a lovely day from all over the world.